Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be telling you every single book that I want to read in 2025. Well, I'm actually giving you only 25 books that I want to read in 2025. These are books that I have recently added to my TBR, books that have been on my TBR for absolutely way too long, and I need to get them off of my TBR, and I feel like 2025 should be the year that I get them read and I get them reviewed and I just get them off my system, because I feel like I've been talking about some of these books for entirely way too long. Some other books, they just made it to the list this year because either they're from authors that I absolutely love or I just feel the need to read them. Again, I'm not going to go too in depth on the books because this was so hard trying to pick 25 books that I wanted to read in 2025 because there's so many books, but I also wanted to give enough information in every single one of them. And if I don't, just know that again, you can look them up on Goodreads, look at the descriptions online. If this is something that interests you and you want to read along with me, I will be doing a couple of reading vlogs with some of these books, so I'm so excited. So let's move on to the first book we want to read in 2025. One of the books that I'm hopefully going to read this year is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tillie Cole. I believe she came with a sequel to this book, and I have heard about this book everywhere, on TikTok, on Instagram, and every time I see someone crying. Do I want to go through that pain? No. Am I still going to do it for the plot? Yes. I need to know what's going on. I need to know what happens in this book. Every single person that I talk about this book with, they're just like, you need to read it, you need to read it. So this is the year where I definitely need to read it. Say You Will Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. She's coming out with this book in April 1st, on April 1st of 2025. When I tell you that anything that Abby Jimenez writes, I need to read. Anything that she puts out into the world, I need to be there to read it. If anybody stops supporting, if anyone stops supporting Abby Jimenez, I will be the #1 supporter of that woman. I absolutely love her. Everything that she writes, I feel like it's truly amazing, and I absolutely love every single thing that she writes. Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, that's coming out on April 22nd, and I cannot wait to read her books. I have found myself liking a lot more of her books as of lately, as of 2024. I know that she has a lot of like popular series out there, but I'm excited to read this one. When I read the synopsis, it just looked interesting to me, so I cannot wait to pick that up. A Study of Drowning by Eva Reed. I think that this book I'm going to enjoy so much. I absolutely love a rival romance, and this is about a rival romance, and I cannot wait. Like, the description of it, it just gives like dark gothic fantasy, and that is my absolute vibe. I love that vibe, and I think that I will really enjoy this book. Another book that I'm picking up and I am starting to dive into this series is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices, and I want to dive into this world so bad because if you know me, I am a Supernatural stan. I absolutely love Supernatural, and I feel like this series will give me that and more. And the fact that there is apparently a TV show out there, I need to pick up this series sooner rather than later so that I can go back and watch the show, because who would I be watching the show first and not reading the books? I feel like I need to pick up this book and see what the world is about, see if I'm going to enjoy it, see if I want to purchase the entire series. I do have the first book, and I was unsure of whether to pick up this or there's another series as well, which like some people say that you should read that one before this one, but when I did do a little bit of research, I ended up with Clockwork Angel, and I cannot wait to pick this up. Wall Side by Elsie Silver. This is the third book in a series, and it's coming out March 4th. I cannot wait because it is a marriage of convenience. I have been into cowboy romances so much this year, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it has something to do with my bestie because she loves cowboy romances, and I don't know what it is, but I picked up a cowboy romance not long ago, and I'm now absolutely obsessed, and I absolutely love the prior 2 books. So again, this book is something that you do have to read if you want. They're interconnected standalones, but again, I'm the type of person that who needs to read the first one to be able to move on to the rest of the series. So if that's something that you want to pick up, you would have to pick up Wild Love and Wild Eyes to be able to pick up Wild Side that comes out March 4th of 2025. Another book that I want to pick up is Heartless Hunter. This seems to be a thrilling romantic fantasy, and that was it for me. When I read that, I was like, I need to. And this is apparently about a witch and a witch hunter, and just those two things made me want to read this book even more. There is just something about it, the reviews that I've heard about it. I believe that the second book also came out not long ago, so I need to move on so that I can read that one, and if I enjoy it and love it so much, I can go ahead and pick up the second one. I also want to pick up the Happy Ever After playlist. Again, some of these books have already been out. I just need to read them. This book is a continuation to a standalone interconnected series that Abby Jimenez came up with. The first one being The Friend Zone. There is a character from The Friend Zone who went through hell, and I felt for her. And this is her book, and I cannot wait to read it. Again, there is something about Abby Jimenez writing that I absolutely loved, and how cute she makes some of the characters be, and some of the characters are even like animals and dogs, cats, things like that, like the names that she puts on them. I absolutely love Mile High by Liz Tomford. When I tell you that I have no clue how I have not picked up any of her books, these are interconnected standalones, and they all follow different sports. I believe the first one is a basketball romance. Don't quote me if it's not, but the covers look beautiful. She's coming out with another book coming out. I've heard nothing but amazing things about The Right Move, and I think that I should start with The Mile High, which is why I put it on this list. I'm the type of person who has to read all of the series in order, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Mile High so that I can get to the rest of the series. Wishes by V.E. Schwab. I absolutely devour The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and when I tell you that now I need to read every single book that this woman publishes, I need to read every single book that she publishes. Like, she is a work of art. Her writing is a work of art. I absolutely sobbed and cried about that book, but we're not talking about that book. We're talking about Vicious. Vicious is the first book in her villain series, and I cannot wait to pick it up. I have no clue what it is, but apparently it's about villains, and I'm here for it. Another book that I'm excited to read, again going back to the cowboy romances, is Wyatt, which is the second book in the Lucky Ranch series. I cannot wait to pick it up. I just finished reading Cash, which is the first book, and the way that that one ended had something to do with Wyatt, and I can't wait to pick that up in 2025. I think I will pick that up soon. If you want to see any of these in a reading vlog, please let me know in the comments if you want me to do a cowboy romance for a week, or reading cowboy romances for a week, or reading a specific book that you want me to read. Let me know. Another book that I'm excited to read is called Honored by Danielle Baker, and this is volume 3 in the Sky Rich Hotshot series. These series is basically 3 different authors came together and wrote one book each, and volume 3 is the last book in the series, wrote by Danielle Baker, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about that book. I'm currently reading book 1. I need to get to book 2, and then Honored. I included Honored here because I definitely want to read the third one most of all. You don't have to read them together. You don't have to read volume 1 to pick up volume 3. But again, you do get crossover characters, so I would like to pick and read every single one in order. But Honored is the volume 3, which is book 3. Another book that I've seen absolutely everyone is First Time Caller. I will put the author's name on the screen, as you can see by the cover of the book. I am really intrigued about this book. I have no clue what it is about. There is just something about this book that really intrigues me. It could be the cover, it could be how people are talking about it way too much, so I cannot wait to pick this book up. Again, I have no clue what some of these books are about. I just know that I've heard people talk about them. The cover intrigues me a lot, and some of them I just want to get off my TBR, so I cannot wait to read this one because the cover just gives me like romance. It gives me it's gonna be good. Going back to the cowboy romances, I really want to read Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope. This is a cowboy romance. Brother's best friend, forced proximity, and he used to be a former hockey player. That's all I need to know. That is all I need to know. A former hockey player who all of a sudden went back to this ranch and decided to be a cowboy. This other one, we're talking about cowboy romances here, and this one is Chasing the Wild by Elliot Rose. Don't quote me on the pronunciation of the name. When I've heard that that book was a forced proximity, age gap, cowboy romance, that's all I need to know. You put age gap, forced proximity, and a cowboy in a sentence, or just all together as a trope, and I'm gonna read it and pick it up every single time. The next one is way overdue, and it is The Goal by Elle Kennedy. This is the 4th book in the Off-Campus series. I need to move on with this series so that I can pick up every other series that she's come up with, because everything relates to the Off-Campus series. Characters from the Off-Campus series, side characters, daughters, cousins, everything revolves around the Off-Campus series. And for you to have the full experience, I feel like you need to finish the Off-Campus, and I'm off to The Goal. I remember I picked it up a while back, but I stopped reading it because it was like a pregnancy trope. And I'm just not obsessed with the pregnancy trope, but at the same time, I love her writing, and I just need to pick it up and move on and just get it over with so that I can read the legacy and move on with the rest of the series. Phantasma by Kylie Smith. That's another one that I feel like I need to pick up. Every single person that I watch on YouTube says that it is absolutely amazing, and it is the first book in like this Wicked Games series. And I'm assuming it just has to do with a female main character having to play this tough games that she barely can survive, but then she falls in love and meets this prince that saves her every single time. Something like that. That's what I'm assuming it is about. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I believe this was her very first adult romance. Don't quote me, but I believe that that's what it was. This was her first paranormal romance, and this is about a vampire bride and an alpha werewolf. Should I say more? I recently went to the store and I purchased The Wedding People, and this one, if I'm not mistaken, was one of the most rated books, highly rated books of 2024, or the most liked or rated book of 2024 based on the Goodreads Choice Awards. And I need to read this. This is about a female main character who goes into this hotel, and she gets mistaken for one of the wedding people, like a guest, I guess, per se. But she's going in there to make a life-changing decision, and we see what happens with that. And I'm interested to know, because I feel like I would really enjoy this book, and I might cry, to be completely honest. I don't know. I just have the feeling that I might cry. The next book that I want to read is right here. I have no clue how to pronounce this because I have an accent, and I know that I'm probably going to butcher this, but this is giving very much dark gothic fantasy, and I cannot wait to read it. Again, I love me a dark gothic romance. Another book that I definitely need to pick up this year because I think is way overdue is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. And all I need to read to you is this. My first love ended in tragedy. My second began with his brother. Let's take a moment here. Like, we need to. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Almost done with this video. The next book that I'm going to pick up is Babel. And this is by R.F. Kuang. This is the very first book that I'm reading by this author. And it is said to be a historical epic fantasy. And I have discovered, as of this year, literally, we're only 20 something days into the year, that I am enjoying a lot of historical fantasy. There's just something about taking me back years and years and years ago with the element of fantasy in a book that I'm really finding myself enjoying and really resonating and really connected with the writing of the authors and the characters. And I just love every single time where there is a historical element mixed with a fantasy element, that just those two things together just make it for me. Another book that I need to pick up because it's way overdue is Nightbang. This is the continuation to the Lightlark book, which is about an island who comes every 100 years, and the ruler of each island needs to go into this island and basically battle to death, and we follow that. I think I really like the concept of this book, and Lightlark was one of my absolute favorite books because there was a love triangle, and I'm wondering what she's gonna do with Nightbang. I think that the third book is already out, and this is something that's turning into a movie or a TV series, if I'm not mistaken. thinking. I'm not sure, but don't quote me on that. So I need to pick up the second book because I was waiting for it to come in paperback, and I already did like a while ago. The last two books, you might not know much about them, or if you do know, you already finished the series. The next one that I need to pick up is Cursed Fates, and this is the 5th book in the Zodiac Academy. The Zodiac Academy is just an entire world of fae, dragons. It's just everything that you want in a series. I feel like the Zodiac Academy will give you. So if you have not picked up the Zodiac Academy, if you have been intimidated by it, don't get me wrong, every time you pick up a book, even if you're reading on your Kindle, it just goes by so quick because you're so invested and you're so intrigued chapter by chapter of how things end, what's going on, what's happening, who are we going to meet, what's going on, what did what. It was just absolutely amazing, and I feel like I need to pick up and continue. So I am going to pick up book 5 in 2025. I'm hoping and praying that I do, because I just need to know what's going to happen, and I need to finish the series because now the series is complete. The last book is Magnolia Park, The Long Way Home. This is the 3rd book, which is considered the 2nd in the Magnolia Parks world. This is a world where we follow Magnolia Parks, and there's also Daisy Hades. I need to continue Magnolia and BJ's story. I think that Magnolia and BJ, I call them my parents because I absolutely love them, and there's just something about a Gossip Girl feel type book, and this is exactly what this gives if it was in London, that I absolutely just need to pick it up and I need to know what's happening. I feel like this is absolutely this book, or actually the last book, was everyone's favorite book of 2024, and I'm feeling behind. I feel like I need to pick that up and see what everyone is talking about and what it's happening, because after book 1, I just need to go back into Magnolia and BJ's story. If you made it to the end of this video, you are a real one, and I love you so much. Thank you so much for clicking this video. Thank you for supporting me. If you want to follow me on my social media, there will be down in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave and hit the like button just so that you can see more of me. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.